The story does not begin in a grand stadium under bright lights. It begins on June 24, 1987, in a cramped, working-class neighborhood of Rosario, Argentina. The air was cold, and the country was still celebrating the legend of Maradona. In a small brick house on Lavaleja Street, Jorge Messi, a steel worker, and Celia Cuccittini welcomed their third son, Lionel. Leo was tiny, so small that his older brothers often worried he'd be stepped on. But Leo had a secret weapon, his grandmother, Celia. She was the one who saw the magic first. When Leo was just 4 years old, she took him to the local club, Grandali. The coach, Salvador Aparicio, needed an extra player for the older kid's game. Celia pointed at the tiny boy and said, "Let him play." The coach laughed. "He's too small, he'll get hurt." But Celia insisted. When the ball finally landed at Leo's feet, the world changed. He didn't just kick it, he danced with it. He dribbled past boys twice his size as if they were statues. That day, the little nut became the little giant. To this day, every time Messi scores and points to the heavens, he is talking to his grandmother Celia, who passed away before seeing his professional debut. By age 10, Messi was the star of Newell's Old Boys, a famous youth team known as the Machine of '87. They were invincible, but while his talent was growing, his body was failing him. While other boys were hitting puberty and getting taller, Leo remained the size of a 7-year-old. The diagnosis was a dagger to the heart: growth hormone deficiency. Without expensive medical treatment, Leo would never grow tall enough to play professional football. The cost was $900 a month, a fortune for a family living on a factory worker's salary. Every single night for 3 years, little Leo had to stick a needle into his own legs to inject the hormones. Imagine the discipline of a child who knew that if he didn't endure that pain every night, his dreams would die. His local club, Newell's, couldn't afford the bills. River Plate turned him away. It felt like the world was closing its doors on the greatest talent it had ever seen. In a desperate last move, Jorge Messi took 13-year-old Leo to Spain. They sat in a hotel in Barcelona for weeks, waiting for a chance. Finally, Carles Rixach, the sporting director of FC Barcelona, saw Leo play. Within 5 minutes, Rixach knew. He didn't want to wait for a lawyer or a contract. On December 14, 2000, in a tennis club cafeteria, Rixach grabbed a paper napkin and wrote, "I, Carles Rixach, hereby agree to the signing of Lionel Messi." But the transition was brutal. Leo moved to Barcelona with his father, while his mother and siblings stayed in Argentina. He was a foreigner in a new land. He was shy, quiet, and often cried himself to sleep because he missed his mother's cooking and the streets of Rosario. He spent hours in the academy, La Masia, perfecting his craft. He was so good that his teammates thought he was mute because he never spoke. He only let his feet do the talking. Part 4. The King of the Camp Nou, 23-00-32-00, October 16, 2004. A 17-year-old Messi steps onto the pitch for Barcelona. The superstar of the team, Ronaldinho, immediately took Leo under his wing. Ronaldinho told everyone, "I am the best in the world, but this kid is better than me." When Messi scored his first goal against Albacete, Ronaldinho carried him on his back like a little brother. That was the passing of the torch. Under coach Pep Guardiola, Messi became an unstoppable force. Between 2009 and 2012, he won 4 consecutive Ballon d'Or awards. In 2012 alone, he scored 91 goals, breaking a record that had stood for 40 years. He wasn't just playing football, he was rewriting the laws of physics. He won 10 La Liga titles and 4 Champions Leagues. He had everything, except the love of his home country. For years, Argentina was Messi's greatest pain. He lost the 2014 World Cup final. He lost 2 Copa America finals in a row. He was so devastated that in 2016, he retired from the national team, saying, "It's over for me." But the heart of a lion cannot stay down. He returned for his people. In 2021, he finally won the Copa America, but the world was waiting for one more thing. December 18, 2022, the Lusail Stadium in Qatar, the World Cup final against France. At 35 years old in his final attempt, Messi put on a masterclass. After a 3-3 thriller and a nerve-wracking penalty shootout, the commentator screamed the words the world had waited 20 years to hear. Lionel Messi has conquered his final peak. He didn't just win a trophy, he settled the debate. He was the G.O.A.T. greatest of all time. Today, Messi plays in Inter Miami, living a peaceful life with his childhood sweetheart, Antonella, and their 3 sons. From a tiny boy in Rosario who couldn't grow, to a king who stands taller than anyone in the history of sports. This is the story of Lionel Messi.